College in Kansas, where he was also a part of a very successful team with plenty of individual highlights. He then transferred to Texas A&M, where he has been recognized as outstanding member of the team and has ended up with 6 top 10 finishes, including the national contest and being named high individual overall at Tulsa and Fort Worth, both very competitive contests. We're excited to have him here today. Let's put our hands together for Tate Hogan.
Okay, coming into the ring, introducing Lily Jacobson, Zach Jensen, Blakely Marble, Easton Nelson, Eric Lindgren, Madden Pendlebury, Maisie Marble, Justin Alger, Emery Hobbs, Posey Jones, Lincoln Schaefer, Capri Kapner, Drew King, Casey Hendricks, and Benji Marble.
Vivian Barker, can you please check in at the front desk for Class 2, please? We're excited to have Chloe Stokes in the ring photographing our show today. She has QR codes posted throughout the barns with details on how to view and download and purchase photos from today's show.
Man, what a good way to start off the GOAT show over here. And first and foremost, I just wanted to say thank you to Mr. Stetson and Chris for just having me out here today. And I know it's going to be a long week, so I'm going to be a little bit shorter-winded. But it's just a really good way to start off with this young lady's weather out front. I would like to admit that I'd like to tone him back just a little bit in terms of his condition. But man, you put that kind of just power on still such a proportional look from the side. Get him out in motion. That guy's built with just so much speed. That guy's just size of foot and hair quality is really, really good. That's a nice project for that young lady. Young man's weather in second. I know at times maybe he was kind of falling out of his chest a little bit. But man, put your hands on that guy, and he's absolutely massive right there out of the backside of his shoulder. Still incredibly fresh and square in his shape. And then the build to his hip and hind leg is incredibly high quality. But like I had mentioned, I'd like to shorten that guy in his blade and tuck him up in his chest just a little bit to make him more proportional from the side. But nonetheless, a really good handling one for him. Young lady's weather in three really started to grow on me there towards the end. That guy's extension up front, shortness of blade, and just tucked up chest reads really, really high quality. I like how he's still really modern in his lower body balance. Get that guy out in motion. He might actually be my favorite in terms of his true flexibility and still organization of skeleton. It's just a mass and power standpoint where that guy needs to be fixed a little bit. Hands-on, he's just not nearly as massive out of the backside of his shoulder, and I'd still like to add a little bit more turn and shape to his lower leg and twist. But nonetheless, a really good built one for her. And then young man's doe kid that's going to end up fourth. Put your hands on, and she's absolutely my favorite. Right there behind her shoulder, she's incredibly fresh and crisp in her shape, and still really square and deep in her loin edge. It's just her front skeleton that I'd like to tweak a little bit. She's a little bit shorter about her neck, longer about her blade, and coarser right there in her shoulder. But nonetheless, a really good handling one for him. And then the young lady that's going to round out the top five is just kind of a fundamental kind of goat. Really good built, still super proportional from the side and fresh when you put your hands on them. I just wish there was a little bit more goat there. Just kind of getting outpowered and outmassed today. But nonetheless, a really good way to start off the show. Let's put our hands together for these kids.
Your fifth in class, Blakely Marble. Your fourth in class, Justin Alger. Your third in class, Capri Capner. Your second in class, Lincoln Schaefer. And your first in class, Posey Jones. All right, we're going to introduce Class 2. Coming into the ring, we have Kadri Reese, Vivian Barker, Wyatt Brown, London Bishop, Wayland Porritt, Matt Peterson, Rylan Richens, Ike Munns, Hallie John, Hunter Baldwin, Bryant Larson, and Sky Burrell. If we could get Class 3 to come line up on the south end of the show ring, Class 3 are on deck.
And another really high quality class, and we're picking up the heat just a little bit over here in class 2. I thought it was really close between this duo up top, and they're totally different in their type and kind. You know, I'll admit I'd like to fix the goat out front's just shoulder and knee design a little bit, but man, it's just pretty hard to ignore the amount of just true power, true freshness of shape, and how hard touching he is. And still step off to the side of that guy. I like his stoutness of skull, his flighty ears, and then he's really short bladed and tucked up in his chest. Allows him to stay really modern in his lower body balance. But like I mentioned, I'd like him to really redesign him right there in the build to his shoulder and knee. But outside of that, man, it's pretty hard to ignore one that's just packing that much power. And then young lady's goat that ends up second is honestly probably just a little bit more my speed in terms of just athleticism and the way his skeleton is organized. Step off to the side of that guy, and he's just really proportioned, very neat. I like him in terms of his neck attachment, how good he is in terms of his chest. But hands-on, I just wish that guy was a little fresher right behind his shoulder, and I wish he came with just more total power, but nonetheless, one that really matches my kind. And then young lady's painted up whether that's going to end up third. He just kept rising in my mind. That guy's opened up. He's really round in his rib cage. I really like the way he grabs up high. It's just from behind. I wish that guy had more turn to his lower stifle. I wish that guy had a little bit more depth of twist and really just make him balance from the side. And then on top of that, I wish he had more substance underneath to kind of match the kind of power he's working with up top. But nonetheless, a really high quality one for her. And then the duo that's going to end up 4 and 5, they both just resemble type and kind. Young man's weather is good looking, flexible in terms of his skeleton, but I wish that guy was opened up and handled with more punch and power. And the same thing could be said about the doe kit that's going to end up 5, really extended up front, really neat at the base of her chest, really progressive in her lower body balance. But like I mentioned, I'd just like to open her up so her hands-on has a little bit more dimension. But nonetheless, a really high quality class. Let's go ahead and put our hands together for these kids.
Your 5th in class, Bryant Larson. Your 4th in class, Hunter Baldwin. Your 3rd in class, Kadri Reese. Your 2nd in class, London Bishop. And your 1st in class, Wyatt Brown.
Like to take a second and thank some of our Goat Show sponsors today. We have Mark Porritt, Richard Nicholas, Jeanette Skidmore, Schaefer Goat Ranch, KS Show Goats, Claire and Lucy Schaefer, Doug and Susie Lish, Ruger and Jackie Summers, and Intertape Polymer Group.
Please put a, can we get a round of applause for them?
Man, another really high quality class. And young ladies' weather out front took 2 steps in the ring, and I kind of knew he was going to be pretty hard to beat. That kind of feature that just works so athletically is kind of hard to come by. Step in front of that guy. He's uniquely wide and still tucked up in his chest. Step off to the side. Really modern in his lower body balance. But man, where he really takes the cake is when you put your hands on him. He's absolutely massive out of the backside of his shoulder. Still really square and fresh in his shape. Man, that's an awfully good one to go ahead and win this class. Young lady, Weather in second, I'll be honest, ended up two pretty easily. That guy's just built to his hip and hind leg is incredibly high quality. I like his extension up front and the shape to his skull. Step off to the side, and although he's incredibly proportional, I still wish he was a little bit more tucked up right there at the base of his chest to allow his lower body to be a little bit more progressive. And then compared to the one that just precedes him, maybe just a Coquem with the same kind of overwhelming amount of power and mass, but nonetheless a real athletic one for her. And then young lady's Doe Kid ends up 3 because she's just really fundamental in her kind. Really bold in her body type, still proportional from the side. I'm just hands-on. I wish she was a little bit leaner. I wish she was a little bit fresher, but nonetheless, just a really fundamental one for her. And then 4 and 5 just resemble each other in terms of type and kind. Both really extended up front, both hard in their muscle shape. Young lady's going to end up 4 because that guy's just a little bit more opened up right there in his chest. Comes with just a little bit more natural thickness. But nonetheless, young ladies, whether that's going to end up 5, like I mentioned, extended up front, really flexible. I prefer his just foot size and feature, but I just wish he had more turn right there to his lower leg. I wish he had more depth of twist. But nonetheless, a really high quality set. Let's put our hands together for these kids.
Whether you are purchasing a car, buying a home, managing an investment property, starting a small business, or leaving behind a legacy, American Family Insurance will help you protect your dream. Bear River Animal Hospital takes care of small and large animals, providing pediatric care all the way up to senior pets. They deliver high-quality, customized vet services with their dedicated team. Services include exams, vaccinations, surgeries, dentistry, fully equipped laboratory and pharmacy, along with x-ray and ultrasound. Many of these same services can be conveniently provided on the farm. Bear River Animal Hospital is filled with highly trained animal lovers who will provide the best care for the animals in your life.
In the show ring, every detail matters.
At Adams Wealth Advisors,
your details
matter to us.
Man, the lightweight division was awfully high quality, and I already gave some comments about them in class, so I'm not going to go back through and talk each individual one. But I think there's a goat out here that kind of just separates himself from the rest. He puts so much good together, does a lot of unique things to a very high quality, to a very high degree. And then I think it's incredibly close to reserve. That's why I watched them go out and circle just to really confirm who I'm comfortable with for using reserve. With that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and show you who are my two favorite.
C&K Construction has been building homes for northern Utah families for over 25 years. Their experience and expertise ensure things get done right. Let C&K Construction build the house while you make it a home.
little bit tougher of a set because maybe there wasn't one that just kind of jumped out and said, use me. But man, when I started to really break these things down, young man's goat out front is just pretty bulletproof in the way he's constructed. That guy's really athletic in his rib cage, really high quality in the set with his hip and very high quality in the posture to his back leg. Put your hands on him. He's just really fresh and square right there out of the backside of his blade. No, he's not the most massive. He's not the most dimensional, but I'm just pretty confident that guy puts the most good together. And young lady's doe kid comes out in second, and she doesn't do it on account of muscle. She just does this from right there. That's her money shot. I like the skull shape to her skull. I like how neat she is in her neck attachment. Still picked up in her chest. Really modern in her lower body balance. Hands on, I would like to open her up. My hand is just a little bit more spread, but nonetheless, a really high quality one for her. And then the young lady's blonde-headed weather is going to end up third, and man, that thing's just true rib shape and just genuine skeletal width is really impressive. But then you can see right there in his lower leg and just depth of twist. That guy's just expression of muscle is really, really good. I wish he had some more foot and feature underneath of him, and I wish he was a little bit smoother in the way his blade laid onto his forerib, but nonetheless, a really muscular one for her. And then these back two kind of matched each other in terms of type and kind. Young lady's going to end up fourth on account of handle. That thing goes right there to the back side of her shoulder. It is really fresh and square in her shape. I'd like to shorten her up in her blade and take her up in her chest, but nonetheless, a really high quality handling one. And young lady's doe kid, I like your just front end assembly a little bit better. Hands on, I wish you were just a little bit leaner. I wish you took a little bit of the bark off of her, but nonetheless, a really high quality set. Let's go ahead and put our hands together for these kids.
Central Milling is the farmer, the miller, and the baker working to preserve American farmland for tomorrow while preserving the highest quality of flour and grains to the bakers of today. Select the best products for your family by using Central Milling Company.
Century 21 Naomi, and we are ready to celebrate 100 years of the Box Elder County Fair. From the first ride on the Ferris wheel to your first set of keys, we're here for all of life's big moments. Whether you're buying, selling, expanding the farm, or building your dream home, we've got the know-how and the hometown heart to get it done. Like the fair, we believe in showing up for our neighbors, working hard, and having a whole lot of fun along the way. So grab a scone, chocolate-covered strawberries, and cheer on the rodeo, and remember, wherever you are on your journey, Century 21 Naomi is here to bring you home.
Right, Emily Pendlebury, come on down. Going into the ring now. Entering the ring, we do have Class 5. We have Autumn Thornley, Brock Griffin, Cash Baldwin, Marshall Harris, Sadie Peebley, Beckham Arnold, Jackson Worthen, Emily Pendlebury, Kate Schaefer, Riley Topham, Alyssa Alger, Brooklyn Leak, and Courtney Reinhardt. Class 6, please start lining up at the south end of the show barn. Class 6, you are on deck.
quality class, but the young lady was the first one in the ring, and I knew it was going to be kind of hard to get around him. That guy's just overwhelming amount of power, still put on such an athletic skeleton. Step off to the side of that guy, and he's just so neat in his proportions. It's pretty impressive he's able to be that short-bladed, tucked up in his chest, and really modern his lower body balance, and still get out and move with the kind of athleticism he does. That's a really good one to go ahead and start off the class. Young ladies weather in second is just the second most athletic in my kind, and in my opinion, really extended up front, short-bladed, tucked up in his chest, allows him to be pretty progressive right there in his lower body balance. When you put your hands on him, the guy's really fresh. I just wish there was more goat there. He's still a little bit coarser right there in his jump muscle, and I wish he had more turn to his lower leg, but nonetheless, a really high quality, really athletic one for her. And then young lady that's going to end up third, that thing's just foot size, feature, and muscle shape is really, really good. He's just kind of pulling back on the young lady a little bit today, and that amplifies the fact that he's starting to work up in his chine, a little bit closer right there in his shoulder. And then although I like the posture to his hind leg, I wish I operated with a little bit more flex. And then young lady, blonde-headed weather, that's going to end up fourth. That thing's just built to his rib cage is pretty impressive. He handles with so much dimension out of the backside of his shoulder. It's just his front skeleton that I'd like to tweak. He's a little bit shorter right there in his neck. A little bit staler at the top side of his blade. And then he's a little bit coarser at the base of his shoulder. But nonetheless, a really powerful one for her. And then young lady that's going to round out the class in terms of just rib shape, muscularity, and just handle. That thing's all there. It's just from a balance perspective where I'd like to tweak her. She's a little bit longer right there in her blade and cut up in her flank, and that just tries to throw off her silhouette from the side. But nonetheless, a really high quality set. Let's go and put our hands together for these kids.
Capener & Company Real Estate is a full-service property management company here to help you through all your housing needs. They specialize in new construction, commercial, and residential investments and property management. Daisy Pack. Let us meet your expectations. Located in Garland, Utah.
Use Elison Trucking for all your trucking needs. They are big enough to serve, small enough to care. Elison Trucking in Tremonton is a proud supporter of the Box Elder County Fair.
Natalie Morris, Jack Searle, Brant Worthen, Hadley Udy, Madison Grover, Liberty Cummins, Hayden Butler, Dylan Lamont, Taylor Hill, Connor Arnold, Chloe Kaepner, and Joshua Peterson. Class 7, please start lining up at the south end of the show barn. Class 7, you are on deck.
another nice set of goats that they brought in the ring. And I'll be honest, outside of the class winner, it was a little bit tough for me because there's some things that we can definitely change. The young lady that's going to go ahead and win it just does it from the fact that, man, that thing's just pretty overwhelming in terms of genuine skill to it, in terms of feature and just hair quality. Put your hands on that guy. He's massive out of the backside of his shoulder. Still ties in really square deep in his loin. I like to fix the design to his front skeleton. He's a little bit coarser at the base of his shoulder. Starts to fall out in his chest ever so slightly. But man, it's just pretty hard to ignore that guy's just overwhelming amount of power. And then, young man, you're going to end up second just because there's just not a lot wrong with your goat. I like to open him up and power him up. But from the side, that guy paints a pretty nice silhouette. He's extended up front, really tall fronted as well. And then you get him out in circle, and he's really flexible. But like I mentioned, I like to open that guy up and give him a shot more muscle. And then the same thing could be said about the young lady that's going to end up third. That thing's tall fronted and extended. I like to build to his hip and hind leg. Every once in a while she starts to overdrive him, and it also causes him to get up right there in the middle of his spine. And then I'd like to add a little bit more shape, a little bit more turn to his lower leg and twist. And then, young lady, you're going to end up forward. Your goat was honestly starting to grow on me, just in terms of flexibility, in terms of just skeletal organization. You might actually be my favorite. I like how he's laid back in the angle of his shoulder, still really tall at the point of it. And then the build to his hip and hind leg is really athletic. But man, that guy's got to be opened up. He's got to be powered up for me to move him up any higher. And then young lady's going to end up fifth. Just kind of brings us a meat and potatoes, real fundamental type. He's opened up. He's got the right kind of muscularity. It's just a few aesthetic things that I like to change in him. He's a little bit coarser right there at the base of his shoulder. I like him to be neater in his neck attachment. And then obviously the scar on the side just kind of detracts from just how fresh he can really look. But nonetheless, a really high quality set. Let's go put our hands together for these kids.
The Utah FFA Association wishes all those involved in this year's county fair good luck.
There's a lot to know when it comes to buying insurance. That's why it's important to have an independent agent looking out for you and your family. Whatever you're looking to protect, Advanced Insurance Services can help. Let Sherry Pally help make sure you have the right coverage and are getting all the...
Hanson Motor Company isn't just another dealership. We're your friends.
And your neighbors.
We grew up here. 4 generations of Hansons have gone to school here.
And we've been part of this community for decades.
And serving the people we know and care about.
As a locally owned and operated business, we understand what matters to you because it matters to us too. At Hanson Motors, you're not just a customer, you're family. We're here for the long haul because we're in this together. Hanson Motors, local, loyal, and proud to serve our community.
Class 7 consists of Ellie Scott, Hazen Stewart, Oakley Lyon, Claire Elison, Hadley Burrell, Celie Kapner, Jason Stevens, Mamie Jacobson, Sawyer Mackey, Berlin Burmester, Lydia Burrell, Jaden Gelner, Avery Pelch, Sky Woodland Firth, Lacey John, and Isabella Bailey.
Patterson with PW Show Goats, and Western Ag Credit. Please join me in giving a round of applause to all of our Go Show sponsors today.
man, a really, really high quality class. And with that being said, the young lady out front kind of came out here, and man, I was pretty excited to see him. That guy is just, the way he can put together such a proportional look, so much power on still such an athletic skeletal system is pretty hard to do. That guy's so neat in the shape to his skull. I really like how short-bladed he is and tucked up in his chest, really progressive in his lower body balance. And then, man, the build to his hip and hind leg is absolutely incredible. Really, really good one for her. And then it was close between 2 and 3, in my opinion. Both of them are opened up and really hard when you put your hands on them. Young lady's doe kid that's going to end up second. It's just a little bit more proportional, a little bit neater from the side. Things extended up front, really neat in his neck attachment, and then really, really smooth right there in the base of his shoulder and chest. Yeah, I would get in behind him, and he's just kind of overwhelmed by a really, really good one to win. The young lady, like I mentioned, hands-on. That thing's round rib cage facilitates for such a nice grab up high. Step in front of her, and I wish she was a little bit more opened up in her chest. And then with that being said, I'd like her to be set back right there in her sternum, but nonetheless, a really good handling one for her. And then of 4 and 5, I thought it was really close because they're really similar in their type and kind. Both are extended up front, both are really flexible. But the young man's weather is just a little bit better in the build to his hip and hind leg. Young lady that's going to end up 5th, really extended, really long body. Stepping behind him, I wish that guy had a little bit more power, a little bit more punch. Nonetheless, a really high quality class, awesome class winner. Let's put our hands together for him.
With over 60 years of experience and personalized service, Guild Mortgage is your key to home ownership in Box Elder County and beyond. Stop by or give us a call today. Guild Mortgage. Own what matters.
JD Truck Repair in Tremont offers truck and trailer repair services, including new and used tires and mobile service.
For over 15 years, King Farms Trucking has focused on developing lanes that provide excellent service to their customers, as well as providing their drivers with maximum pay, home time, and year-round consistency. Join their team today.
Kent's is your one-stop shop for fresh produce, bakery items, deli, and meat. Stop by today for fast, friendly service.
Hoffman AI Breeders has been serving the cattle industry for over 38 years. They are a proud supporter of this year's Box Elder County Fair.
By installing Ritchie waterers, you save water while keeping it fresh and always available to your animals. You protect the land by keeping natural water clean and soil healthy. And you conserve power because they're energy efficient. We're committed to helping you create a prosperous, sustainable, and regenerative future. Because we know, like you know, that every saved drop matters. Ritchie, fresh water for life.
Man, the heat continues to pick back up. I think this middleweight division is incredibly high quality. Like I had said in the lightweight division, I already talked them in class, so I'm not going to go back through and have any comments. I think there's a pair of goats that kind of just separate themselves. Now with that said, I think there's an absolutely incredible winner, and I'm going to go ahead and show you who that is.
Ladies and gentlemen, your middleweight division reserve champion, Kate Schaefer. And your middleweight division champion, Sawyer Mackey.
Mountain Valley Printing is your one-stop print shop. They print on all apparel, as well as photo prints, copies, canvases, metal prints, banners, and more. Check out their Bear River High School merch shop for amazing swag. They even have fundraising opportunities.
Pizza Plus, made from scratch. Quality pizza, famous for their breadsticks.
Rudd Funeral Home is a locally owned family-operated business. Joe Rudd and his family, as well as their devoted staff, are committed to providing you with the best service possible during a difficult time. Their beautiful facilities have all the necessary amenities. A large viewing room can also double as a smaller, more intimate funeral chapel. The chapel is even equipped with streaming capabilities to make sure family and friends are connected no matter how far they may be. Rudd Funeral Home is there to help you in your time of need. Roach Ranches supports the people that support them and the fantastic youth of the valley. Thank you for over 60 years in business, quality seed stocking, gravel, and hunting. Rock and Roll Construction Products, providing U-Cart concrete and landscaping products.
At Roach Financial Group, take advantage of our Salt Lake City, Utah, and our Tremont, Utah offices. Locally in Tremont, Utah, we have Julie Holmes as our client management specialist. We have Riley Summers as our investment management specialist. And Chrissy Roach as our life, health, and Medicare specialist. When you're with Roach Financial Group, you're with the Cowboys.
Rupp Trucking Excavating is a family-owned and operated construction business specializing in site prep and site utilities. Brothers Blaine and Brent Rupp have spent the last 45 years priding themselves on a project well done. What began small has turned into a company of over 70 employees and includes work such as demolition, sewer and water installation, earthwork, septic systems, and waste containers. Rupp's operates several gravel pits and offers both delivery and pickup. Contact Rupp's for your construction needs.
Schooler, let's get growing. Your partner for grain and feed, merchandising, marketing, storage, and logistics.
Euler, Eli Thompson, Thalia Arnold, Quincy Rhodes, Aisley Butler, Madison Branch, Cooper Branch, Wiley Baxter, Tyson Lamont, Landon Dennis, and Ashlyn John. Get Class 9 to line up on the south end of the show barn. Class 9, you're on deck.
said, and the young lady out front, Goat, I'm pretty confident just puts the most good together. That guy's extended up front, still really short-bladed, tucked up in his chest. I really like the build to his hip and hind leg and how it allows him to get out and stay so collected in motion. If I had to tweak him, I'd like to set him back in the angle of his shoulder and maybe give his knee just a little bit more flex and comfort, but nonetheless, a really high-quality one for her. And then young lady, in terms of just build quality, yours is my favorite. I like how he's laid back in the angle of his shoulder and knee. I like how his hip and hind leg still allows him to stay balanced in motion. I just wish he opened at the backside of his shoulder with a little bit more dimension. Hands on, that guy's just a little bit staler, a little bit plainer, but nonetheless, a really good build one for her. And then young man's goat kid that ends up third in terms of just genuine skeletal width, power, and just muscle shape. She's really, really good. She's really short-legged and still tucked up in her chest. It's just from a design and balance standpoint. She's a little coarser in her jump muscle. Her hind leg just isn't quite built with the same kind of quality, and it's just throwing off her silhouette from the side. But nonetheless, a really opened up one for him. And then young man's weather, that's going to end up fourth, just kept working up on me. He's opened up, he's still muscular and proportional. I just don't know if he does it with the same kind of just bells and whistles as the ones ahead. He's a little bit longer in his blade, a little bit deeper in his chest, but nonetheless, a really solid one for him. And then young man's goat that's going to end up fifth in terms of just power, foot size, and feature. He's actually probably the class leader. It's just from a design standpoint, I'd like to change that guy. He's starting to fall off right behind his shoulder. He's a little bit steeper in the build to his hip. But nonetheless, a really high quality set. Let's go ahead and put our hands together for these guys.
For Class 8, your 5th in class, Cooper Branch. Your 4th in class, Eli Thompson. Your 3rd in class, Bradley Munns. Your 2nd in class, Quincy Rhodes. And your 1st in class, Madison Branch.
Golden Spike Power Sports is still family owned and operated, serving the Bear River community since 1947. We're here to take care of all your power sport needs, located right on Main Street. Come and check us out and experience the difference.
Tree City, creating a safe and welcoming community where neighbors feel connected to each other and enjoy life.
On behalf of Utah Seed, congratulations to all who participated in the Box Elder County Fair Junior Livestock Auction. Well done! We also want to thank the families, 4-H clubs, farmers, and ranchers who supported these participants in preparing this year's entries. All of us, farmers, ranchers, and Utah Seed are involved in feeding America. Whether you need alfalfa, seed, dryland pasture, cover crops, or 3-way grain mixes, we are here to help with the right products and right information for your needs.
Nyquist.
quality class, and I'll be honest, I think it's really close between the two up front, just because they're so different in their type and kind. Young ladies, that's going to go ahead and win the class. There's just a little bit more my speed. That guy's really extended up front, super proportional in the way his skeleton blends together. The build to his hip and hind leg is incredibly high quality. Hands-on, I really like how just fresh that guy is out of the backside of his shoulder. No, he's not the most massive. Step in front of him, and the young ladies in second is definitely bigger chested, definitely wider, bolder, and bulkier everywhere. It's just from the side. I wish that guy was a little bit more relaxed in his spine, and then I wish his tail, the base of his tail sat up a little bit higher on his hip. But nonetheless, a really powerful one. Kudos to those two young ladies. And then I think it's really close between 3, 4, and 5. I was just a little bit more comfortable with the young lady in 3s in terms of just power, proportionality, and just bulkiness of rib cage. I wish she was a little bit more picked up in her chest. I wish she was a little neater in her neck attachment. But in terms of just power, that one's definitely deserving of her spot. Young lady that's going to end up in 4th does an awesome job of showing him. It works really, really hard. And then I like her goat's just extension up front. I really like the way he's just constructed in terms of his skeletal system. I wish that guy was just a little bit more opened up. I wish he handled with just a little bit more dimension. And then young man's doe kid, that's going to end up 5th. Probably does have just more genuine skeletal width. I like the build to her hip and hind leg. I just wish she had more foot and feature underneath where to really match her substance up high. And then her front end just doesn't quite hit me with the same kind of just presence and quality as the 4 ahead of her. Nonetheless, a really high quality class. Let's go put our hands together for these kids.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 5th in class, Camden Young. Your 4th in class, Carly Hart. Your 3rd in class, Riley Rhodes. Your 2nd in class, Claire Schaefer. And your 1st in class, Briley Joe Howe.
Get the resources and quality of a big school education and the support of a smaller school at Utah State University, Brigham City. Student success is our top priority. We offer over 120 degrees, certificates, and programs, plus on-campus childcare to empower students and their families. A Utah State education is affordable too, thanks to competitive tuition and tons of scholarship opportunities. Visit statewide.usu.edu to learn more about becoming an Aggie in Brigham City or Tremonton.
Heavyweight division, this is Class 10. Class 10 consists of Skylee Montgomery, Quincy Cummins, Paley Thompson, Weston Peebley, Emmy Howe, Parker Thompson, Blakely Munns, Bentley Bunster, Olivia Pixton, Ashton Meyer, Haven Rhodes, and Nicole Mackey.
I know it's the last class, but it was probably just the deepest in terms of quality. I think all 5 of these out here, and then 6 and 7 are very, very good. But man, it's hard to keep them this fresh, this late in the game, and I think the young lady does an awesome job of that. Hands on, that guy's really fresh and square to the edges of his rack, and progressively thickens back into his loin. But man, where he really wins it is just right here. I like his stoutness of skull, I like how meaty he is in his neck attachment, and he's still progressive in his lower body balance, but the build to his hip and hind leg just reads so flawless. Yeah, I wish he was just a little bit more opened up, and that's definitely where the girl in second takes the cake. I think he's really opened up in his chest, really big in terms of his foot, and then you put your hands on him, he's absolutely massive. I just wish that, I bet his best days were about 30 days ago when he was just a little bit fresher, because that guy's starting to put some bark on him, but nonetheless a really powerful one for her. And then the one that's going to end up third just kept growing on me. That guy's extended up front, he's still opened up and really big in terms of his foot size and feature. Hands on, he's good enough for me, although he reads a little bit stale. And then I wish he just had more turn to his lower leg and had a little bit deeper of a twist. But nonetheless, a good one for her. And then the young lady that's going to end up fourth, I liked her goat immediately when he came in terms of just athleticism and the kind of proportions that he represents. I just wish he was more opened up and came with just a nickel more punch and nickel more power. And then young man that's going to end up fifth, that thing's incredibly opened up, super bulky in his rib cage. Put your hands on him, and I love just how fresh he is out of the backside of his shoulder. It's just a design and balance thing that I need to change. He's coarser right there at the base of his shoulder, a little bit deeper in his chest, and then his hip and hind leg just kind of needs to be redesigned. But nonetheless, an incredibly high quality set. Just going to put our hands together for these guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 5th in class, Blakely Munns. Your 4th in class, Emily Howe. Your 3rd in class, Hayden Rhodes. Your 2nd in class, McCall Mackey. And your 1st in class 10, Skylee Montgomery.
In the Valley, hard work isn't just a tradition, it's a way of life. That's why folks trust Valley Implement to keep things running strong. We carry trusted names like Case IH, Coyote, and Bobcat, brands built to work as hard as you do. Whether you're moving dirt, cutting hay, or working the land, we've got you covered.
At Valley Implement, we're grateful for this opportunity, and it's our privilege to support the youth of Box Elder County.
A little over 10,000 years ago, mankind first domesticated cattle. At this exact same time, cattle domesticated us. They give us their milk, their meat, their hides. We give them sustenance and care. And while they may live in pens and fields, farmers and ranchers are just as tied to the land. Our two species have worked together and taken care of each other for centuries. Our relationship is ancient and deep.
The heavyweight division was incredibly high quality, and I think all 6 of them out here definitely represent themselves in a very high quality manner. In my opinion, there was kind of just 2 of them that hit me pretty hard in class. I thought it was very close within the class, but there's just kind of 2 of them who I think can separate themselves. I'm going to go ahead and show you who that is.
Ladies and gentlemen, your heavyweight reserve champion, McCall Mackey, and your heavyweight champion, Skylee Montgomery.
This year is a special one as we celebrate 100 years of the Box Elder County Fair and Golden Spike Rodeo. Thanks to all those who make the fair possible, to all the supporters and hardworking kids. We sure do love the Box Elder County Fair.
Meet the dedicated veterinarians at Bear River Animal Hospital. Whether you have small or large animals, they can provide high-quality, customized vet services, including exams, vaccinations, surgery, dentistry, x-rays, and ultrasound. Make an appointment at 435-257-7455.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Grand Drive exhibitors, Lucy Schaefer, Sawyer Mackey, Skylee Montgomery, J.C. Thompson, Kate Schaefer, and Nicole Mackey.
everybody out here today sorting on these young people's livestock. They're all incredibly high quality, but more importantly, the kids are just doing a phenomenal job. Every single exhibitor that came in was incredibly respectful, and I know a lot of people talk about southern hospitality, but up north you guys are pretty welcoming as well. I wanted to mention a couple of things. I know on the ride back from the airport, Chris had mentioned what had struck the community a couple of days ago, and I think that's absolutely horrible. But a community like this that can still band together is kind of just what this livestock deal is all about. When you enter into this industry, you know that you have just a community that's going to keep not only you accountable, but man, you're just going to be able to band together and know you have some brothers and sisters. With that being said, I thought there was a pair of individuals who brought out just a level of goat that just can compete anywhere in the nation, and I genuinely mean that. There's two of them out here that just hit me incredibly hard, and I'd be confident placing those guys just anywhere in the nation. I'm going to go ahead and show you who that is.
Ladies and gentlemen, your reserve champion, Kate Schaefer, and your grand champion, Sawyer Mackey. Thanks everybody for coming out to our show today. We really appreciate all of your support. This show could not be possible without our wonderful sponsors and our amazing goats. And the amazing goat committee. If we could give everybody a round of applause, please. Thank you so much.
We deeply appreciate your participation in this week's county fair and rodeo. Your presence adds to the vibrancy of our community. Thank you for visiting Tree and being a part of our journey. Whether you are purchasing a car, buying a home, managing an investment property, starting a small business, or leaving behind a legacy, American Family Insurance will help you protect your dream. Bear River Animal Hospital takes care of small and large animals, providing pediatric care all the way up to senior pets. They deliver high-quality, customized vet services with their dedicated team. Services include exams, vaccinations, surgeries, dentistry, fully equipped laboratory and pharmacy, along with x-ray and ultrasound. Many of these same services can be conveniently provided on the farm. Bear River Animal Hospital is filled with highly trained animal lovers who will provide the best care for the animals in your life.
In the show ring, every detail matters.
At Adams Wealth Advisors,
your details
matter to us.
Big J Milling has high-quality wheat flours for the baking industry. They specialize in providing top-grade flour for commercial bakeries, bakery and restaurant distributors, as well as home bakers.